team right now.
Saquon Barkley hasn't had 100 yards rushing in any game.
He's going to go! Saquon Barkley finally explodes!
Saquon being Saquon,
65 yards! Hello!
Proud of how we were able to run the ball, and I'm proud of how we were able to make plays.
He swings it over, and walking in is Saquon Barkley for the touchdown.
Great team effort to be able to rush for that many yards.
Sports Radio 94 WIP, Eagles Radio Network, 38-20 victory over the New York Giants. First game with these two like it never even happened. Brought to you by ServPro, the #1 choice in cleanup and restoration. And the Eagles cleaned up and restored, like ServPro, their offense yesterday, but they did it without A.J. Brown in the lineup. Now, I am not going to sit here and state they were good on offense in terms of the running game because A.J. Brown was not there. That would be irresponsible. But coincidentally, they were really good offensively in terms of their ground game without A.J. Brown there yesterday. 38-20. He was out because of injury. Jaylen Hurts, 15-20, 179, 4 touchdowns. But the storyline, as you heard there with the voice of Rich Eisen, weekdays noon until 3 Eastern. And then, of course, CeCe about Saquon, 14 carries, 150 yards, a touchdown, 4 catches, 24 yards, and a touchdown. Why was the Eagles' offense better yesterday? And is it telling us anything here with A.J. Brown out yesterday?
Well, it was interesting that their offense was better considering Cam Jurgens, their all-world center, was out of the lineup yesterday. But I thought that the Eagles did a great job of being able to get a hat on a hat and get Saquon to the second level. And when you see him get past the line of scrimmage is when you truly see how special he can be. The acceleration, the burst, it's all still there. It's just a matter of the lanes being available to him. And yesterday they were. He took full advantage of it. Conversely, that Giants defense, they weren't gapped out up front. Guys not playing assignment football, and then guys not being able to get Saquon down once he breaks the first wave and gets to the second and third level of the defense. The missed tackles are a thing. The Giants' defense has to get back to basics. They've got to be fundamentally sound. They weren't yesterday, and the Eagles' rush game made them pay.
Yeah, absolutely. Heading into this game, Saquon's longest run of the season, 18 yards. Then second play of the game, he breaks off that 65-yard touchdown run. And I think all of us had the same reaction that he did when he said post-game. He was like, finally. And that's what we were waiting to see from Saquon the entire season, because we obviously know that he's capable of it. But the offense as a whole looked like it was clicking on all cylinders. This was their most complete game of the season from top to bottom on that side of the ball. Jaylen Hurts, 15 of 20, 179 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He looked very strong too. And no A.J. Brown, so that begs the question, is trying to utilize him and the manner in which he wants to be used causing this offense some friction? Or is it just them getting in a rhythm with a new play caller, and then once he's back, you can plug and play with a guy who's obviously very talented?
So coincidence or cause?
You think it's addition by subtraction with A.J. Brown not being on the field?
I don't know. Here's what I know. Is A.J. Brown elite at what he does?
Yes.
Yes, he's
undoubtedly.
Awesome. He's so good.
He would garner at least 1 first-round pick by way of trade if they were ever going to trade him.
Yep.
Okay? Period, next sentence. There are sometimes, Josh Allen, Steph Diggs, where when you – and by the way, Brady's entire career, I believe Brady was better at winning when he didn't know who he was throwing to first. And I think that we saw it with Josh Allen. When you don't know before the snap who you're throwing to, in many ways, I think that's a good thing. My guesstimation is all of the talk from A.J. Brown causes an extra split second of thinking for Jaylen Hurts of where's A.J., and then let me see where everybody else is versus what is the defense showing me here. I'm not blaming A.J. Brown, nor am I blaming Jaylen Hurts. I'm just saying the reality is A.J. Brown clearly wants the ball, right? That's obvious. He wants the ball as much as possible. As he should when you're that great.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's the right thing to give him the ball as much as possible. There's something there. I mean, you played the sport for 11 years. You won a Super Bowl. Every time you were active, your team had a good record. You know what winning looks like. You know what losing looks like. What is the difference of what we saw yesterday versus what we have seen with this team?
I think they were more comfortable in the identity that allows the Eagles, from a personnel standpoint, to be at their best. And that's probably because number 11 wasn't on the field. Now, I'm not in any way, shape, or form saying that the Eagles are better without A.J. Brown. But there was clearly better balance on the offensive side of the ball. They had 12 rushing first downs, 10 passing first downs. That's the kind of balance that we saw throughout all of last year with that Eagles offense. right? They had 2 runners over 100 yards, Tank Bigsby and Saquon Barkley. They were both phenomenal. We'll see what ends up happening with Saquon in the groin. Perfect time for the bye week for the Philadelphia Eagles. But I digress. I think that when it comes to being able to have the offense at its best, being able to get the best version of Jaylen Hurts, it's a game script on offense, much like what we saw yesterday. Can A.J. Brown be satisfied with that? I think the answer to that question determines how the Eagles proceed with number 11 before the trade deadline.
Do they need to care if he's satisfied by that?
Yes.
Why?
Yes, because he's such a big figure in that locker room. He's so important to their team, and he's an uber talented player, which means he's going to have a voice. If he's not happy, it's going to be disruptive. Not that he's trying to be a malcontent, but it's going to be disruptive if he's not being fed, if he's not getting the touches that he's looking for. And if that ends up being the case, I have a hard time believing that it doesn't permeate throughout the locker room. I have a hard time believing that it doesn't affect Jaylen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, so on and so forth.
When Jaylen Hurts gets the news, A.J. Brown's out, he feels how?
I don't know. I'm not in his head.
No, but like...
That's impossible to discern.
Okay, so when they game plan without A.J. Brown?
Well, if you're concerned about his satisfaction with the game plan, if you're worried about trying to feed him a certain amount, and if you don't, you're worried about what his public reaction will be on social media and or towards the media as a whole, if that thought is freed from your mind, maybe Kevin Patullo is more empowered to draw things up in a certain way when he's not concerned about his star wide receivers' potential discontent.
It doesn't seem like there's logic to trade him, but...
I will say this.
Yeah.
When A.J. Brown is out, there is no panic in Jaylen Hurts. He's not concerned.
Okay, that's a major statement you just made.
He has Devontae Smith. He targeted Devontae 9 times on his 20 pass attempts. He's not tripping. Not to say that A.J. Brown is not a dog, because he absolutely is, and I in no way, shape, or form want to disparage the type of player that A.J. Brown is, because he is absolutely phenomenal. I think he's a top 5 receiver in our game. But that said, A.J. Brown out of the lineup, no panic, no worry from Jaylen Hurts.
That feels like a pretty bold statement. Does it not?
You can say it feels like a bold statement, but the proof is in what we saw yesterday.
That's an MVP quarterback yesterday.
That was one of the best games we've seen from Jaylen Hurts this year.
And your
4
MVP
touchdowns,
caliber
no
running
picks.
back. And your MVP,
141.5 passer rating. By the way, following that up the week prior, he had a perfect passer rating. 2 weeks in a row, he's been awesome.
And your MVP caliber running back looked like an MVP caliber running back.
Yes.
I mean, this is okay, they're not. Everyone says they're not trading him. They're not thinking about trading him. They don't want to trade him.
Well, they can say they're not trading him until they ended up trading him. We hear that all the time. I don't put any stock into the business of we're not trading a guy. He's off limits. There are only, a handful of players that you would say a team is not going to listen to trade offers.
Fair.
The Dallas Cowboys said they wasn't trading Micah Parsons until they were.
Right.
So it happens all the time. So we're not trading A.J. Brown business is ridiculous.
Let me ask you this. Can they show A.J. Brown, and he was there, they need extra vision of this, but can they show him what happened yesterday and say, can we do this with you, please? Can we do this where you're part of this?
But Ev, he already told you that this is not enough for him. He's already said it. He put it out in an Instagram post days after they won the Super Bowl. People wanted him to feel a certain way about being a champion, and he just didn't, because in his eyes, he wasn't dominating in the way that he wants to, consistently winning his one-on-one matchup, being uber productive, and not translating to overall team success. He doesn't like the alternative path to victory that the Philadelphia Eagles routinely showed last year. The path to victory that allows the Eagles, from a personnel standpoint, to be at their best, which is running the ball, which is leading with that offensive line, and then Jaylen Hurts dialing it up every now and again just to force defenses to play him honest. That's not good enough for him. He already told you that. That's why I asked the question weeks ago, if winning is not enough, if championships are not enough, then how can you square the circle of making A.J. Brown happy with this Eagles team as constituted?
No idea. Literally no idea.
I don't know how you do it either. That's why they pay Nick Sirianni the big bucks. He's going to have to figure it out because this falls on him. I don't know how the hell you figure it out.
Right, because what you're saying is you want a champion. Not what you're saying. What you're recounting of what A.J. Brown is saying is championship not good enough. Best offense they have displayed all year. He didn't play in it.
Well, we'd prayer using me, but not using me.
Dead cap hit is enormous by trading him.
And he said using me, but not using me after a 100-yard day and the quarterback throws for 300.
That's right.
You're right. I have zero. Like, I don't like presenting problems without solutions. I have no idea what the suggestion is.
Yeah.
What, you're going to make him inactive the rest of the season?
I don't know, but this is why you pay your head coach. He's got to figure it out. And if he can't, then that's up to Howie Roseman to figure it out.
What happens when you better not lose a game and you lose the game? We'll discuss next. We're on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.
Hey, this is Rich Eisen. Coming up Monday, we break down all the biggest storylines coming out of the NFL Week 8 Sunday action, preview the Commanders and Chiefs on Monday Night Football, and talk some World Series, too. That's Monday on The Rich Eisen Show on Disney+, the ESPN app, and ESPN Radio.